Hello! Today I'm going to show you how to attach the 4 feet onto the belly of the Stomp and Snuggle Squad patterns for Rosie Roos Crochet. This technique works if you're trying to join feet. Make sure that if you're working on a different pattern, you keep an eye on the instructions and the stitch counts. But this in general is a great way to attach no-sew legs to your amigurumi body as you're crocheting. Today I'm crocheting the little pig from the Stomp and Snuggle Squad pattern group. So the first step, and this is for row 3 of the body, this step says 2 single crochets, and then the next 2 single crochets are with the foot. So here's how to add the foot. You'll grab your first foot, and I like to start with the last work stitch. I think it's just the easiest to find. So what you'll do is you'll insert your hook from the inside of the foot, poking out to the outside into the first stitch. And then just get rid of the yarn tail from the foot, and you'll position the foot so that it's up and down. And we've already got our hook through the foot, and now we're going to go through the bottom of the belly as well. So you'll see that the right side is facing down. So we got our first stitch, and then we'll move over to the next spot of the foot and our next spot of the belly, and we'll crochet through both those. So that's the 2 stitches through the foot. Then the next instruction is 2 single crochets in the belly. We return just to the belly, and then again we'll pick up another foot. I like to go to the last worked stitch. I go through from the inside to the outside through that stitch, and then working back into my belly I find the next open stitch, right here, and I go into that one as well and single crochet, and then I'm going to do it on the next one as well. So 2 stitches through the foot and belly together. The next instruction for this row is to do 3 single crochets, and then we're going to pick up our 3rd foot. Once again, we're going to go from the inside of the foot to the outside through the last worked stitch. We're going to come into our body, find the next open stitch, and we're going to do 2 single crochets. Again, always through both the foot and the belly. And then following the pattern, we're going to do 2 single crochets into the belly. And then we pick up our 4th and final foot. Again, last stitch worked from the inside of the foot into the through the outside, and then we're going to do it through the belly as well. And we'll do our second one, find our next open, and then to finish the row we'll do 1 single crochet. Now that the feet are fully attached, we're going to finish with the feet by skipping the 2 single crochets that we just did and now working around the outside of each foot. So now that we're starting row 4, we'll do 2 single crochets, and then we're going to skip the 2 crochets that we just did on the body, and we're going to transition to the foot. So one of the reasons I like using the last work stitch when I crochet the foot on is it's very easy to find the first stitch of the next row, especially because if you choose to follow the color change instructions on the pattern, you'll notice that it's the first one that is the body color. So now we're going to do 10 around, and that first single crochet onto the foot, I like to make sure that my tension is nice and tight. So that was 1, 2, okay, and that's our 10th single crochet around. Then we're going to go back to the body, and we're going to do 2 single crochets back in the belly. And again, keep your tension nice and tight. You might have a little hole here. That's okay. You can always take one of the yarn tails from your feet to tie up the holes. But if you keep your tension really tight, you might be able to just avoid having to sew up those holes altogether. And now I'm back working on the foot, 10 single crochets around. and 10. And then once again, I'm going to go back onto the body. So I'll find this part of the pattern has you going 3 single crochets. So I find the next unworked stitch on the body, 3, and then back onto the foot. And 10. And then once again, back on the body for 2 single crochets. And our final foot. And then following this pattern, we just have 1 final single crochet to do back in the belly. Now that all 4 legs are attached, you'll work around the outside of your piece as usual.